Hey everybody, this is GGB. Today we're going to be doing the ACC Conference Tournament. I'm kind of excited. I didn't get to do this last year. I had a lot of tests to study for, and while I still do have a test to study for and a paper due tomorrow, I think I could take a little time out of tonight to do a nice little video for you guys. I know I haven't been getting any content out to you since last Thursday, which is a little under a week ago now. But we have the ACC Conference Tournament set, and I'm using my March Madness board, so it's not going to work out exactly like the way I want it to, but it works well enough. So let's talk about starting off. Pitt is playing Boston College, and this is an interesting matchup because these are two of the teams that I don't think are the best teams in the ACC. I think it's far from it. The Pitt Panthers, though, have actually shown some ability to win. I mean, they beat a really good UNC team that just beat Duke this weekend, a UNC team that's likely to make the tournament. Pitt Panthers were on a hot streak for a little bit. They cooled off near the end of the year. But I think they're a better basketball team, just in my personal opinion, than Boston College. I think they're a hotter basketball team. That's why I'm going to put the Pitt Panthers moving on to the next round to take on Wake Forest. Then NC State's playing Clemson. This one should be pretty obvious. Again, NC State's the worst team in the ACC. And while I hate to say it, I really do like NC State. I think I root for them a lot. It just really hurts me to say they're a bad basketball team this year, and especially with all the returning talent they had. They should have been a better basketball team. Clemson's not a great basketball team. The only way they're making the tournament, obviously, if they make a run in the ACC tournament, but they're much better than NC State. This is going to be an easy W for the Tigers. You're moving on to the next round. And finally, the last games we have tomorrow, we have Louisville taking on Georgia Tech. This is an interesting one. Obviously, Georgia Tech is ranked significantly lower than Louisville, but Louisville's been a really cold basketball team lately, have not been playing their best basketball. The Cardinals haven't. Georgia Tech hasn't been necessarily horrible. They won their last game to get out of last place against Boston College. Georgia Tech had Virginia Tech on the ropes for a little bit there last week. That's why I'm going to go with the upset. I think Georgia Tech's going to upset Louisville and make it to the next round. So then we have on Wednesday, the starting off of the tournament. This is the first one that's going to be on live national television on ESPN. We have Florida State taking on Syracuse. See, this is an interesting matchup because obviously Syracuse is a pretty highly rated school, but this is the 8 versus the 9 seed. And what I think is really interesting is obviously Syracuse had a great chance to get a huge victory against Miami, the 8 seed, a couple days ago. But they blew a 7-point lead. They end up losing that basketball game. That lets Florida State catch up to them. Florida State gets a big win over NC State. And Florida State's starting to look hot down the stretch. They beat a Virginia team 2 weeks ago. That was a team that was considered for March Madness until that game. Florida State's a hot basketball team. Obviously, they have the talent there to compete. And I think Florida State right now is a hotter basketball team than Syracuse. Obviously, this doesn't work out perfectly, so I'm just gonna leave it here for now. But, you know, they move on to the next round to play Duke. I'll just hold it here. Boom. That's what it's going to look like. Fortunately, this tournament doesn't really work out the way I want it to. I'm not going to pick a lot of upsets these rounds. Obviously, I think Wake Forest is a better team than Pitt Panthers. I mean, this is a Wake Forest team that looks like a probable March Madness team. I think this is a Wake Forest team. Plus, Pitt is going to have to play Boston College, which isn't a horrible basketball team and likely a similar talent level to them. They're going to probably be worn out from Boston College. I think this should be an easy dub for Wake Forest, especially off no rest, and they're going to move on to play Miami, which is going to be an interesting game. This is probably, I think, the most interesting basketball games of all of the ones on the second day. Obviously, Clemson played Virginia Tech on Saturday in a very close, tight matchup that ended up in a close Clemson win. Clemson got the upset over Virginia Tech then. That kind of took Virginia Tech out of the bubble, per se. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Virginia Tech, you can't lose here if you really want to make March Madness. I don't know if you have to win the entire thing, but you definitely need to, in my opinion, make the semis. And right now, if you lose here, you're off the bubble entirely. This is for the Hokies season. They have to win this basketball game. I think they will, but I believe the Tigers give them a fight here, and Virginia Tech moves on to play Notre Dame. Oh, no! And then finally, Georgia Tech plays Virginia. I think this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people realize. Georgia Tech has been playing pretty well to end the season, and Virginia hasn't not been exactly killing it. Obviously, I think the Cavaliers probably win this basketball game and move on to the next round against the UNC Tar Heels. But I gotta go with I think Georgia Tech's going to make it a close game. So back at the top, Florida State's going to be playing Duke. I'd say for the Seminoles, I think they have a pretty good basketball team this year. I think they give Duke definitely some fight. But I think this is Coach K's last year. At the very least, he's making it to the semis. Then Miami's playing Wake Forest. And this is where I'm going to start giving them upsets. I think Wake Forest is a really good basketball team. I think an really underrated basketball team, if I'm going to be honest. I think Miami's going to give them a fight. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the ACC tournament, Wake Forest versus Miami. But I'm going to go Wake Forest. Wake Forest upsets them, and Wake Forest plays Duke in the semis. Then we have Virginia Tech playing Notre Dame. And I think what's really fascinating to me about this matchup is Notre Dame's obviously a really good basketball team. They beat Kentucky this year. This is a likely tournament team. But Virginia Tech, if they make it this far, is definitely fighting for their season. A win against Notre Dame might get them in the tournament. They obviously could not get blown out in the second game, but I think Virginia Tech wins this basketball game because they have to. I think Virginia Tech's a really solid basketball team. I really like them. I'm going to put Virginia Tech in the next round. The Hokies make it to the semis. Then finally, I'm going to go with another upset here. It's Upset City. The Cavaliers have been cold to end the year. I'll give you that. And UNC has been pretty hot, obviously coming off the win against Duke. But I think since UNC has been resting for 2 days, they're going to be a little bit colder than you would think. I think the Cavaliers come in and they shock UNC, ending for a semis between the Hokies and Virginia. And then I'll take the gamut. I think Wake Forest is a surprisingly good basketball team. I think they upset Duke. Remember, they almost upset Duke this year. This isn't an insane thing. They almost made a three-quarter shot to really upset Duke. But I think this is the chance for their signature win for the Demon Deacons. I think they win it, and they move to the championship. And then I also think the Hokies are a better basketball team than Virginia. I think they make it to the championship. And then Wake Forest plays Virginia Tech. Obviously, a huge game for Virginia Tech because if you lose it, you're giving your fate into the hands of the Selection Sunday people. But I do think Wake Forest wins it. That's my bold prediction probably for the year, if I'm going to be honest. Wake Forest wins the ACC. The Demon Deacons clinch a bid. And Virginia Tech has to hope and pray that the Selection Sunday people are smart and actually let them in the tournament. I think they will. But Miami might not make it if that was to be the case. Hey everybody, this is GGB. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of my predictions. I mean, I know some of them are pretty crazy, but I think Virginia Tech's a really good basketball team. I'm a little bit higher on them than a lot of people are. I think they have some real talent in Mutz and Aluma and Hunter Couture. I think they have some really good, solid players on their basketball team. So I'm a lot higher on the Demon Deacons and Hokies than a lot of other people are. I think the ACC tournament's going to be really good this year. I think it's very close in talent-wise this basketball season. But hey everybody, this is GGB saying adios amigos, and like and subscribe.